It is 7:03 p.m. on January 7th, 2026. We will call the planning commission meeting of January into session. Begin with a roll call, starting with myself, Drew Falk.
Elizabeth Saul, Amanda Cow, Allison Miller.
Forum. Hopefully we get some late joiners either via phone or in person. Terribly.
Yeah, check. Colin is, there we go.
There.
Sorry. In there. We're gonna let him in. We're allowed to talk. Maybe is online. James, under a pseudonym. Welcome, Macy.
Hey guys, Tom Forsyth is here.
Very good. Excellent. Next on the agenda is to review and approve the December 2025 minutes. Does anyone have a chance to view any comments, questions, or concerns around said minutes? I guess I wanted to take action to approve the minutes.
So moved.
All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, so the bulk of discussion today is on the 2026 docket discussion. I hope everyone had a chance to do your own voting for the docket priorities. So we will hand it over to team here to discuss what your findings were.
So Maggie was not able to come tonight. She had, she had to take care of some family stuff. So she did get information from everyone that, here, let me just pass this out. I don't know if it's your packet or not. That, it might be not because I think she just compiled this actually, where she ranked it. Yeah. So
this looks like the same thing.
yeah, well, I don't know. They did do that. This is what she told me to hand out.
Oh, it does. The order is different.
Yeah. If she did. So maybe what the one thing that she wanted me to suggest to you is that this is too much. With you too. She suggested maybe picking your top 5. And obviously the comp plan had a development rate those. And then she got living regulations down here. But actually we have just put that within the and regulations because it is a requirement. Like it originated via the state code as of January.
I had emailed Maggie that it is also a part that has to be considered with that living regulation. So, and it will be in our downtown quarterly, right? So wouldn't that look right? Maybe with the prohibition.
Yeah, I think so. We have to do that.
Please don't be tied to what?
She just wants you to sort of like top 5. But if I would say to the council, say, hey, this is because really, I don't know. Honestly, it's gonna be difficult to do more than the comp plan and the lot.
I don't have a top with the fence standards being not.
Yeah.
Okay. Do anybody else put it on higher on their priority list?
But with it, the agree was requested.
One of them was a council member. Yep.
I just.
But it's your docket.
I feel so not so. I don't know. I mean, if one council member is that it's a council priority, one council member has brought it up. I don't look at meetings and I haven't checked their minutes. I don't know what this,
Yeah,
anybody else have any?
I think if the council prioritizes, it's obligated to bring it up. But bringing it up is not.
Yeah, I agree with Allison. Yeah. It's reasonable.
I'm sure we'll hear that.
Hey, though, I mean, you don't have to agree.
Just go with, I mean, we have to give this, can we just go with those top?
You can just pick the top five. And this is what we're gonna.
One of the things that I was sitting back on is like, which of these, probably the required things, like, that's, which of these is like your job or preventing housing, so that's sort of where I prioritize that. Those things were actually like friction.
I don't know, any bottom regulations are causing a lot. These are 9, 10, 11 are more projects brought up by one person and some bigger. So the conditional use permit is difficult to work with. But a new R3 zone would be helpful for people to build on smaller lots. But I know still does have some concerns with that, but you certainly do that, right? That's in your prerogative to say.
Can I make one comment here? Considering the least wording to the, which is reverting back to the original.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're right.
Consider new, and everybody's like, oh, if we talk about it in the reverting back to the, which is it's not even shading. Maybe a little.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Reverting back to what was.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The way that I look at this is chunks of work. Comprehensive plan. That's number one, because it's in the theory supposed to take up most of the time. We'll say that we sat in this meeting, and we're told to stand about the spent. Well, maybe a meeting in decided up in the areas and Nexus studies. I'm leery to dedicate a lot of the year to be something that's going to live here. For ranking yourself to your work this year, will that necessarily translate to this one?
We argue for entire chapter soon. We have the land use and health chapter that I think would be ready. I obviously check with Maggie, but standpoint they would be ready to at this point. It is a lot. Like that's a lot of work to read through and just see if that there was sense, that would
Don't make sense. I really thought we got a lot done in 2024. 45, the list is a lot smaller. They're very cautious. This is a comprehensive plan. But if you think it will come to in the very near future, then
yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's also a large that will take some time. Parking that would get fixed. That too, trying to like be difficult because it's sort of sections of the code right now. It's big. Too, how are you supposed to provide if it's not into bot?
With the,
That should be pretty quick.
yeah. we initially adopted, so basically requiring time and building official, I guess, just sort of made a presentation about like why we might with it. Be the same process as that person or this will just
Yeah. I wasn't sure he handed this to me and I'm sure received this or not. It was a email from Mike Smith. The recommendations attached Christian who was Wooey code and there's stuff that would be really helpful in anything with the like options rather than you can have a 6x6 or whatever. She knows stuff. Yeah, and I don't know. Did you? I can hand this out to this. I wasn't her. We thing. She was off in a lost. So. It sounds to me like a quick easy one. Like they in somewhere during the year should be one meeting.
Well, there's consensus about vegetation management.
Yeah. If we could get people to stop playing, yeah. In the whole county because I think we have a whole bunch of it right next.
And that was like, when we moved in.
Yeah.
Years ago, was that all of the house. So
Yeah.
store. I was like, oh, no, arborvitae out of it all there.
I know. That beautiful baby trees.
Bird fell down. Yeah.
On campus, I guess it's. Yes.
I guess at the bottom. I mean, you're treated one. Sure. Use permit. That doesn't. And the welcoming community. This one's confusing.
It is confusing and
One parcel.
yeah.
It's nice that.
The part
Oh, here. Yes, it's it actually hasn't been fully accepted. All of the boundary review board went on through its hearing yet. So it's not even part of the city. It is the law. It's the mountainside.
past the gravel, like the gravel.
No. Next property. Email that the citizens sent, and they're just concerned about the state floats and wetlands.
There's also rockland. A survey or like went up and he found some updates and was like, some of the rounds are. Interesting. So, big deal, like I, everybody else talking about it. It's even everybody's. Oh, I think part. On this now.
So to be honest, you feel like it would be like we're in the city.
That's, yeah.
I mean that.
I know, a lot of people. Find it, yeah.
I don't.
I would be.
Couldn't this then request a meeting time during a meeting and Make it all applicant.
It doesn't fully make me good. I think I understand what for. I haven't talked to them.
I do know what you have.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, that might help.
It's like, we're not. Uh, different zones.
Yeah.
And how about you just. So that part of it is a recreation zone, develop to, as there's recreation,
Mhm.
and then like developable half of the property that's slow. The zone for commercial. I don't know.
It would be,
So like, I don't even know.
well, she's not the. And we're and now a property owner and
It's like different mechanisms.
yeah, I think what Maggie's saying is that she tells us isn't really this, it's not being developed and this is something that you should comment it's in with an actual proposal. Like there's nothing happening with
I fear that there's like, the
coaster.
that's actually like.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in town don't need by
Mm.
city happen essentially. And then you can actually can't do that.
Yeah.
That technically isn't really happening again. It's a little
Right.
what could happen. But yeah, I don't know how it even works, like, so. Probably without, without like.
From us, at the city, if the owner doesn't want that, that's very contentious, and I don't know that the city would want to take. That it would be worth, to.
With this-
I don't know that.
Who owns it?
No, she doesn't own it.
Yeah.
If she owned it,
This isn't. And
This seems like,
it doesn't make sense to do it in this process. And it was just a.
I think it's clear to me. There's four, but this could be addressed. It's not. So. It's not. Well, maybe
so interested in this, only because, our burger from McDonald's, so, will be pretty, I understand mom and pop shop, but it feels like our fingers in something. Should other people.
Does this request? Yeah, I haven't.
It was requested.
But it does work. The problem is that you need to have is a really high or like and so needs to be such a competition on and off would be
Yeah.
force that be for resale. Don't see that.
That is. I also brought it up, I'm curious if oh no, this is something that's.
Well, not more than that.
Like I, because,
Not that I'm aware of.
But again, I feel like the whole majority of council, no, this is why. Or we have a PA.
Or the shape that.
The chambers. That would be constricted.
Right.
Well-
Hold on, said the audience.
The audio is really bad.
See that light on.
To be honest.
Do you know? Yeah, I was gonna get over there. Oh, what? Yes. It was your works one? We did. Yeah. There's though, that's for us to. See. This is. Echo.
Anything else? No?
There's us. Colin, is that better? Is this better? Where's the, is that right? It's right there.
So like.
Yes, that is better. Thanks, guys.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we gotta be careful about all talking at once inside conversations. It's hard for the audience to hear.
I think our mic was unplugged, so probably didn't hear us.
No,
We should be better.
Yeah, whatever you did worked. That's awesome.
okay, great. Ooh, we can hear you through that too now. Yeah, well, that's fun. It's like you're sitting right next to us.
All right, so back to four-wheeler retail. Yeah, this one feels pretty messy. I think I'd like to see some better examples of it before we really start to tackle it.
I think I'd like to hear why the council asked about it. And if a majority of council members are like, yes, this is a significant concern. For businesses downtown. Versus if they're like, oh, I don't know, maybe don't you think that'd be nice? And I'm like, what is it worth it? You know, if there's not like.
I feel like there's a overarching trend there. We are very protective of our downtown for businesses. To the point of, things like there's no food trucks in town, right? There's no, we ban the vendors from being in the neighborhoods. So I think that there's just kind of an overarching protection of said businesses, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but to Simon's point, you start going into very sticky areas when you start to dictate what businesses can and can't versus letting market force dictate what businesses should or shouldn't.
And I would agree with Elizabeth. Market forces do dictate that it is absolutely pricing and shoving, mom and pop shops out, and we can see like powerful evidence of that. Then I would love to step in and write something, but I just don't know that trying to put the framework for something that's not an issue yet, or maybe it is an issue that we don't know about, and maybe we need to be directed to working on this harder or bumping this up our list. Allison made a good point as well. Who is asking, and is this, is this a majority of the council saying we need to really look into this, or is this, one, please? Yeah, just one voice or one idea.
And I would just note that the, a formula retail policy is a solution to the problem, but not the only solution to a problem of our local retailers getting pushed out. So I think that if we wanted to look at this, we probably want to make sure that the landscape of potential solutions was considered, not just based on the problem, based on our unique situation. I agree.
So I think the overarching response is we would like to know. So for the sake of this process, we're going to keep it where it's at. Okay. And probably hear more. Maybe there's before an argument we do here, when we do meet with council, but the time being. Bed standards. Opinions, clearly, I think it's something we should address, but it feels like not a huge priority, and probably something we can tack on at some point when we get busier down through the course of the year.
Could this be tacked onto the WUI
That's
code?
what I was just gonna ask.
Because this has to do with WUI, right?
It does have to do with.
Yeah.
We just mash it in there with the buoy and
Yeah.
knock that all out in one single setting and
Yeah,
kill two birds with one stone.
got it.
Good suggestion.
Gotta-
And then short-term rental regulations, so
This is only in the commercial district, is that what I'm saying?
Yeah,
presently all of our B and B regulations are only in single family.
that's an all residential.
or all residential.
So what the problem is right now, so the bed and breakfasts are well regulated, but the SDRs down on commercial or downtown are not. There's no regulation in the code for them. So
Does the code view them as a hotel room?
they're just, nothing is happening. No one goes to inspect them. Like the bed and breakfasts get inspected every third year by the fire marshal and the building official or someone from the building department. But the SDR don't, no one ever goes and looks at it. Because there's no mechanism to do it.
When they initially get their business license endorsement, they have a walkthrough with the building inspector and the.
Yeah, in the beginning, but then it sort of falls off.
For their
What
rental,
is the
they don't
business
have
license
to.
categorized under?
Absolutely.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
I just meant it's business license renewal for the city, so the renewals process doesn't instantiate any sort of.
It doesn't trigger anything, no, it's automatic, yeah. It only, if you were to let it lapse for a month and then renew it, it would work.
What's the risk of leaving it unregulated?
Fire, bad conditions for visitors. Life safety, I think.
So if it's a life safety thing, can we say that every time that they re-up, I mean, would that be maybe overly burdensome, but every time that they.
I think
I mean, if it's a hotel room, I guess that's 365 possible stays, looking at it like that. So, yes, maybe we need to just have a trigger, for fire department or for, to proof of, does the fire department sign off on something for something like this every year? I mean, is that too cumbersome?
So I mean, we're considering. I mean, I guess so like some of the hotels, resorts have condos that are basically on a short-term stay.
Yeah.
Those are commercial enterprises that carry bonds that require inspections, that all this is already being done to operate that business, to carry that.
The insurance, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's different than like the condos that they're like individual condo owners that are short-term renting their unit.
Like.
Is different. Yeah, like that's different than like Suites on Main, where he has like however many units in a building and there's like one person managing the whole building,
Right.
as a single business. And yeah, I don't know that there's really oversight if you just have like your one, you have insurance, but I don't know, I mean, I have short-term rental and my homeowner's insurance.
I can follow up with the fire department tomorrow and find out.
They're not checking on sure.
Is this something that's on the, I'm wondering if this is even something on the
They're not
city
going
to
to
regulate.
for the carbon monoxide detector.
I mean,
No, yeah, well, it's the same as a bed and breakfast, it's just, I think it doesn't make sense, it's not particularly fair, like the bed and breakfasts are highly regulated. And then if you have a commercial property with an SCR, it's not, so there's nothing, like, we're not like telling people to put in landscaping or parking or, I mean, I guess it's just,
We have an example of that's a building owner, he owns 2 buildings and they're back to back. And the street is the line, so he owns one house on commercial that's in the residential. But right behind that house is a rental short term because it's commercial. And so he's able to rent several rooms in that unit. So it's a lot of differences.
So I mean, some of it is fairness, some of it is fire safety. But I think that, but I guess if I want to get too into is like, there are definitely commercial enterprises that are doing this, and so maybe there's a way to demonstrate, to just show, here's the behavior. But otherwise, you're pretty good burden on businesses, like, they're having to do this.
I think it would be valuable to ask, to like figure out what other standard, like, yeah, what do hotels
Yeah, I mean,
do in terms of like inspections and requirements, and make sure that we're not like, that we're not duplicating or being overly burdensome for businesses that are already doing that, while also making sure that, you know, the smaller business owners are doing something, you know.
What is the city of Chelan doing? Since I have to assume that they may also have this issue.
I have no idea, but, I know, like, this county, Chelan County obviously regulates the STR. You know, that's highly regulated in the county. So. If the same parcel was outside of, you know, out in the county and not inside the city limits, would be different. And, well, they probably wouldn't be allowed to, because it's capped here, but, I mean, it is far down the list now. I don't know if we'll be able to get to it this year anyway. But it's something that to think about for the future.
Yeah.
Fencing, we combine fencing, it feels like we can absolutely get the STR.
Yeah,
But maybe later in the year.
I mean, if it's something that's necessary for safety, and we have, I mean, turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's on here for fire and life safety.
That's a real thing, let's figure it out. And is it as simple as, like, Mr. Folk said, maybe we either you show proof, like insurance and bond proof for the business, or if you're a single person doing it, you show proof that the fire department has done a walkthrough that year for you, and you have to have it done yearly. I mean, but do hotels have it done yearly, or do they have it done more often than that, or?
They do.
So, like, okay,
They go to insurance and say, yes, we expect it, and all fire safety is in operation.
perfect, okay. Because like Alan said, I don't want to be overburdened, but if it's really a safety thing, I think we need to take some sort of action.
Yeah, to make sure they have, you know, like, fire extinguishers aren't out of date, and like, simple things like that. And that there's exits, yeah.
And they're not blocked by
Yeah.
things.
and
And that could be something easy, maybe it's something you put later in the year, and you just spend one or part of a meeting on it and decide whether or not it's, well, is this, you know, something we can do quicker, or do we need to, you know, push it to next year and spend more time on it?
I mean, I also feel like if we did some research first on like what is required of you know, the commercial properties in those zones already. And we kind of had that data to build on, that would help us, like, we could pretty quickly go through like life safety requirements, be like, oh, well, we just need to make sure that like all of the short-term rentals are, you know, meeting the requirements that other businesses are, et cetera.
Could we,
I think the only other thing to think about is like with B&Bs in the residential area, we purposely made the bar very, very, very high because we wanted to discourage housing units from being used as short-term rentals, because we want to encourage availability of long-term units. And so then I'm like, don't like, you know, at the same time, I don't want to like add some weird burdensome process for essentially a hotel for, you know, a business.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of Suites on Main, you know, where like it's apartments essentially, but like. It's a bunch of condos in a building and they're all rent, like I don't wanna make things really burdensome when. You're running that type of business, but I also. Wouldn't feel bad about making it fairly burdensome for someone who owns one condo to. Rent that condo short-term instead of long-term. Even if it's downtown.
Yep.
Like they can jump through some hoops. Yeah.
So are you talking being housing type specific then?
Potentially,
So,
and that gets really complicated.
Exactly, that's
right?
why I asked.
So that's like opening up another can of worms as opposed to just like, oh, but you know, life safety, we can cover that in a meeting.
what might be a good idea is actually tack this one on with the RUI. Because I believe that the fire marshal required the inspectors to for safety fire. So we could just, in that meeting, say really quickly, we start about 15 minutes to talk about.
Oh, and we think that
So
the fire marshal will come. that we can-
or at least no,
Okay.
who would have, because it's a, the NFPA. So it's what's the standard and it's on local agencies to enforce it. So they'll at least know, or at least know where directions to say, they're doing this, but yes, we expect, I mean. I saw yesterday that having open hotels, I know exactly how this works, but I just saw that yesterday they were getting ready to open the Quinta and the fire trucks there, because they have to do walk through the building. People there is some around the safety inspectors. That's like one of the steps to get their occupancy permit. And they have to be manually inspected. I think that there's already redundancy here, we just need to figure out the things. And it's maybe tack on to the weeks and then it's taking us for action.
I mean, I feel like it's sort of separate, but it is the same person.
Separate.
Well, there's the fire life safety thing, and then there's the how burdensome and like that stuff is not gonna be answered at that meeting, but perhaps our questions about process could be answered.
Just like life safety and inspection.
Could knock out that, you know, talk about the other stuff. Okay.
So I think this is kind of a secondary item that feels like, depending on how the conversation goes during the movie discussion, this could be tacked on somewhere else or snuck in somewhere else. If it becomes a lot more complicated, then might as well just sit on the right side of the list for the year. Everyone go with that? Yes.
Yeah.
Next up, co-living regulations. So this is required.
Yeah, so that should really be with the development regulations, because it's already in effect, honestly, like, we had to adopt it January 1st. So we adopted the RCW codes. And if we don't like them, then we have to go and change it in our own development regulations. But right now, they have been adopted.
Okay, so let's add this.
So we should put it, yeah, it should just be part of the development regs in number 2. It doesn't need its own space. And I did talk, Maggie, we talked about that today, and she said, yeah, it was separate because it had come up previously, but then it was part of the development regulation changes from the state anyway, so. I would just cross it out and add it. It'll be in number 2.
We're not reducing any of our work, we're just reading. Class.
Yes, we're not, we're not.
Okay, so we don't need to go through every single one, obviously, the next 6 are there for a reason, but I guess the question is, are there any in the top 6, you would make an argument that you might make us move it down in the free space or what the other ones we discussed? Basically, this time we're talking about would short-term rental formula reads out. Make it up into the top tier. Here. Okay. So to summarize, 1 through 6 stay as is. Number 7 tacks on to number 2. 8 moves up to number 7. 9 tacks on to 4. 10 moves to 8. 11 moves to 9, and 12 stays.
So do you want to bring all of these back to the council in this order, or do you want to just completely drop some of them off?
I mean, at this point, because we consolidated, we really only presenting 10. I see no reason why we don't present 10. We basically box 1 through 6 and say, here's our list, and then
Okay.
if there is time or something comes up, we have these other 4 in the waiting, but 1 through 6 would be our prayer.
Okay,
Be our recommendation for the docket.
okay. Yeah, because you're having a meeting next week, right? Tuesday. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that should be simple to rearrange, no problem.
Everyone agreed?
Yeah.
Any objections? Speak now, and the record will be peace until next week. Right. Next up is continuing discussion on conditional use.
So did you guys do your homework on that?
I did.
Very good.
I only sent it to Megan though.
Oh, yeah, I don't, when did you send it to her?
2 days ago.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I thought I had you on there too.
That's okay.
Sorry about that. Did everybody else do it?
I did. I don't do it, mark everything that I thought.
I did it like a month ago, so I haven't like reacquainted it with myself. I'm like my markup.
Yeah, I printed out a sheet. We can go through them if you would like 1 by 1, or I'm not sure.
Celeste,
Yeah,
I went and looked through my emails and I thought that we were gonna get like an Excel or Word copy of this. I received.
I didn't see that either, so I just like copy pasted and
I
saw it.
yeah, you should have received one, but I don't know. I don't have your email address.
I also didn't receive.
I can't.
I just took notes.
Did it go to our city addresses
I
then?
don't know.
And we don't know.
I never even looked at that.
Yeah, so those are Maggie is like the keeper of the emails, and if I can't actually email you guys without her. She's gotta. I think she was meant to do that one day, but it didn't happen because she had to create like a planning commission. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Listserv?
Yes, and anyway, it's all typed in individually, and then I actually don't have your email address.
You have mine.
I have Amanda's and Elizabeth's, I think, and that's it.
I have Allison's.
Oh, wait, I probably have Alice, and I probably have yours, because I think we've emailed each other, so, yeah. I have some of them, sorry. But if you did not, that's very unfortunate, if you didn't get a copy of an Excel sheet, because that would have been much easier than, I guess, did you printing it out and writing on it? Is that what you did?
Yeah,
Yeah, it would have been,
and I didn't get through all of it, sorry.
it would have been, really helpful. Because then you could have emailed them back to us.
Sorry.
No, I don't know what that's not really your fault, so I think,
Well, I like copy pasted this and then.
I don't know, what do you guys wanna do? Do you wanna talk about it, or would you like, what I could also do is figure this, have Maggie send me the emails, or she'll be in the office tomorrow too, and then we can like send you an Excel copy of it, so you can mark it up and send it back to us, so that we get all of your comments in typed writing, or,
I refer to the boss, what do you think's best, really? You want to tackle this right now, or I have some notes to talk about, or would you like to have everybody on the same page?
I am not the person that's in the file assessment. But if you have notes, then let's go through it. Is there a link you can?
I think-
download that could, like,
I think this is probably gonna take a few iterations anyways.
Yeah, so let's.
So
totally fine.
we should probably.
And the one with the, then I make a motion that we table this talk, and then until we get this.
I'm gonna deny your motion, and we can start talking about it.
Okay, great.
I'm blind on it, but,
let's see, I don't have your email. The email I have for you is the cityoflebanon.com.
Drew, this is an older copy of mine.
do you
But we have, it's in the,
It's in the packet,
it's in the packet.
but it won't be in Excel.
today,
I was gonna see if
Probably
I
a
could
PDF.
AI it
was it today's packet?
into a, yes,
It was in the
Oh,
packet,
I have,
page
No.
7.
but I have,
there we go.
oh wait, wait.
Okay.
Here, I can open this.
Are we just gonna go through?
Yep.
The list, go down the list.
So if you did your homework, so. Let's start, yeah, I mean, if there's the ones you have flagged, let's start there. As there was a bed and breakfast, we'll start there.
Yeah, start at the top.
I thought that was the most important one to receive, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, bed and breakfast, well, I mean, the CUP process is like slightly pointless.
Yeah.
In that, like going to a public hearing versus, yeah, making sure that they have like checked all of the extensive boxes.
Yeah, should we reorient ourselves about the change that we're trying to
So,
make?
yeah, let me describe it again. So there's going to, we're trying to get rid of some of them, like completely, like this doesn't make sense anywhere, or this is all, it should just be a permitted use. Or we're gonna have like a conditional use permit that goes to the hearing examiner. Or there's another option that we think the bed and breakfast would fit into, which would be a limited, like an administrative review. So it goes to, it still gets notice to the neighbors, but it doesn't go to a public hearing. So the people can still comment on it and say, hey, I don't think they live there, tell us things that we might not know. But it doesn't have to go through the whole hearing process, because it does feel a bit like we're wasting city money and the hearing examiner, he's expensive, right? And it's also takes a lot of his time to read the whole packet and make sure that everything is checking the boxes that we have already checked. So,
Yeah,
right?
I have a quick proposal for right now, guys. What if we go through the list and just cross off everything that we think should no longer be a conditional use? I feel like that'll help narrow things down and be a good step forward.
Yeah,
The first one I have is the bus and taxi cab stop.
Permitted.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy, right? I
Yeah.
don't know where this came from.
The youth home is conditional in multifamily only. And, which page, residential, it's in residential uses. That's not on, I looked at the whole page, not the thing that she said.
So you looked at is the PDF different than what we got on paper?
Yes.
Oh,
No, well, what she got online like ours. our use chart is different than the conditional.
Yeah, I went through the entire.
Well, the other part is different than
Yeah.
Okay,
Two groups.
yes, sorry.
Here's.
Just went through that.
Yeah, got it.
Or, well, I think it's in the packet.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the packet. So,
What's the difference between an educational center and educational facility?
ooh, I looked that up. One of them is like,
the definition is on the PDF that Maggie created. So educational center means structures, uses that provide educational services, including but not limited to business, technical, or trade education. Educational facility means structures and uses that provide educational instruction from pre-K to grade 12. I don't know why they have to be. I guess it's like a trade school versus a.
So,
James said, hold on.
so educational centers are more adult oriented and education facilities are more K to 12, pre-K to 12. So,
Yeah, I don't know that. So there was one other thing Maggie and I were talking about. In some other jurisdictions, they have places of public and private assembly as a conditional use permit. And that can include a lot of different things. And instead of like breaking it down into such small like pieces, some of these things could fit under that if we had that as a category.
that's,
James is joined us and he's had his hand raised.
Hello, James.
Hello. Yeah. So one of the things I struggled with when I was looking at this was that the pivot was hard to read for me because we have RL6 combined with, we have all of the conditional uses lumped together, and I couldn't just look at everything that was in RL6. So I did start to break that out, but I haven't finished doing that for myself. So I could say these are all the things that are conditional use in RL6. These are all the things that are conditional use. So I think we need to approach it more from which conditional uses are fit into which of the zoning types. So right now it's just a list where you have the comma separated value, and that made it a little, I couldn't get my head around it in that way. I had to break it out further.
yeah, I found it much more helpful to look at our use chart because.
Our chart, yeah.
Which zones it's conditional and which zones it might be permitted in, because there are things like daycare center, that's conditional in the residential zones and permitted outright in the commercial zones.
Right, and that's a question of is that a conditional use that do we need to again, how do we need to think of some of those things where sorry, I'm a little, the baby's having a rough evening, so it's a little scattered. But again, looking at the use charts, like for things that are in RL6 that would be done in a single family home, like why, I guess, I'm in favor of almost scrapping literally everything we have and going to higher level bucketing.
yeah, I would like to see that as well. I mean, there's difference between educational facilities and medical facilities or transportation facilities or utilities. And I would like to see these kind of groups into larger groups because.
But does that entail
changing
our district use chart?
Yeah, and well, eventually we will have to change the district use chart because we're trying to create a less conditional use permits and also in a way that makes more sense. Some of this stuff.
But I mean, if we're talking about like grouping things in different ways, that would mean reformatting and redefining uses in our entire district use chart.
Yeah.
And is that something that would be
Worth it, yeah.
While?
I see this as just very scattered and difficult to follow.
Yeah, I think it's not as bad when you are looking at it in the format of the entire district use chart. And there might be similar uses that each have their own definition, where the zones in which it is conditional, permitted, not allowed are the same. But we still have separate definitions. So you kind of have to list them separately in the district use chart.
Right, but in the.
Because if we're not specific in the district use chart, then
That's okay.
that's when the adventure, the poster happened. It's because it wasn't specific.
Go ahead.
The option that you brought up of this hybrid where neighbors get notified and it goes through some sort of administrative process where it doesn't go to the CUP. I was not aware that was an option because I lean towards what James said of scrap every single one of them and have the people that do it every day decide what, I mean, like, we obviously know what needs to see a hearing examiner. If it feels like 80% of these could fall in that bucket, that interim or that middle bucket that you talked about, where you guys, the neighbors get notified and it comes to the city and you guys make the decision about it. That feels very realistic for, I mean, because my notes were deep on why do we need this one? This seems overreaching, you know, and I feel like if that is an option that you said, that could take care of, I mean, from what I'm seeing here, like 4 on 4 or 5 on this page, I think it would take care of like 75 to 80% of all of those CUPs that.
Well, then we would get rid of we would remove most of them from the CUP, like take the CUP off the district use chart. And what we would have instead is like, we were talking about changing it, you know how the permitted uses to say P. But if you look at other people's district use charts, there's often like, you know, there'll be a little footnote, like a P1 or a P2. And if it says, like say it says P2 and you look down the footnote, it says requires administrative review. So then you know, oh, well, that means I have to go look at that code section that talks about, what does that mean? It means it gets noticed to the, you know, it gets noticed to the neighbors. It means that Maggie looks at it in a different, like, there's a code section for that.
Yeah.
So
It
it would be like a P2, you know, then instead of the bed and breakfast, instead of being a CUP, it would be a P2.
Yeah, and it
Does
would,
that make
and
sense?
then the footnotes would be like P2.
Yeah, and then you talk about
means must, you know, meet administrative review
limited
criteria and then
administrative.
after 18, whatever
Yeah.
the B&B code is. And then, so any use that we still wanted to have specific criteria in the code, it would have a footnote that referred to a specific chapter in the code, a la bed and breakfast. And then and then a lot of these are just permitted outright. And then I do think the one thing we have right now is we have a bunch of things that are CUP, but they don't have specific criteria.
And we have to
And
create
if we go through and we're, you know, like I went through and I wrote admin on a lot of these for like administrative review for a lot of the things that are CUP. And, but that would often still entail having specific requirements.
Yes, yeah, exactly, just like the B&B, it's the same, like the administrative review.
Yeah.
If we could put the bed and breakfast in that, then we can also, you know, look at some of these other ones that don't have any requirements right now and create a section where we would take the bed and breakfast out of the conditional use permit chapter and put it in. Oh, it would be in,
Well, right now it would be
something
like supplemental uses.
yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
so it'd be like that.
Yes, it would just be in there. Yes,
Yeah.
Oh.
Section, and then, so I think my question is, can we have, for a lot of things, if we have these like similar uses, like educational center, educational facility, hospital, preschool, nursing home, like a lot of the requirements that we would have around those would be similar. So can we refer a large swath of similar uses, those like institutional type uses.
Yeah.
And we refer all of those to the same section, and it'll be like, oh, these are the administrative review requirements for like all of these different uses, because they're institutional, so we wanna make sure that like parking is
Some of that might
addressed.
be a carve out sentence. A hospital's gonna have 2 or 3 different things every school, sure, but at least it can be in one section instead of having.
Yeah,
Yes,
So,
I like that.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of, yes, I think that's absolutely the way to go.
yeah, because I mean, I feel like a lot of these things, I was just like,
Copy-
that's
copy
be
those
permitted
things
outright,
separate.
except for like. Some of the institutional uses that I'm like, yeah, that should have administrative review, because we're gonna want specific criteria just because of the volume of people.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, are there any of these things that we think need a CUP that we need to call out and retain?
I wish I could give that. I wish I could give that a thumbs up. That was my exact thought. I think we're approaching it from the wrong aspect, which is like what actually needs conditional use.
Yeah, the only things that
I mean, bed and breakfast, but that's modified.
Which means that it doesn't need a CUP, right? If we don't need it to go to the examiner, then if it has a well-defined process, then that can be administratively reviewed.
Yeah,
So then,
We
does
have a
that mean
very
there's
well-defined-
anything on here that needs a CUP then?
That's what does anybody want this? I made a spreadsheet from the.
the only things, I'm trying to see like what, teleports and aviation activities.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, that probably still needs. a
I agree with
Like,
that.
that's pretty intense,
Yeah, bulk fuel maybe.
like that,
That's.
actually bulk fuel, I feel like there are well-established regulations.
I think the FAA has some most established regulations for helicopters too, so I think that, I think that there are other entities.
but I think that, for actual aviation activities, I would argue that there's, neighborhood and other considerations that would go into in addition to the FAA regarding noise and others.
Because the FAA would be
The
like,
things that are
you
like,
have the clearances and space or whatever you need, and we'd be like, but are you, all the neighbors in there?
yeah, and I would say the things that are like, we don't wanna, the city staff don't wanna get blamed for having to interpret things that are sort of
Yes.
mushy, that's the things that need to go to the hearing examiner. So that would be,
So the only thing,
Any of the public facility utility stuff need to be, or that can all.
I think some of it from my perspective would be, like, it depends on what zone it's in. You know, like a hospital in a residential zone, I would say maybe still needs a CUP because you have a lot of traffic, you have.
well, right now, that's
ambulances,
just not permitted.
Right, it's just loud and, you know,
Well, right now, that's just not permitted, so,
yeah, I guess I was just.
Hospital, yeah.
yeah.
And
and it has that's the thing, is like, hospital requires a CUP in the commercial zone. And it's not even allowed in the residential
Yeah.
zone, and I'm like, that, why would you need a CUP for a hospital in the commercial zone?
Seems like administrative review and.
Yeah.
Have some,
So that we just-
like what you said, and with the P1, P2, P3.
But again, define that the district you start out with.
Yeah.
It is, right?
What was the P3? Sorry.
So that's saying like,
Permitted
Permitted.
1 would be an institutional use, permitted 2 would be,
B&B.
a B&B use, permitted to, and so you just have those.
you have like.
Oh, no, we have lots of
Sorry.
numbers.
Sorry,
There's,
I
so
apologize.
there's like, it's just footnoted.
Got it.
Footnoted permitted uses, refer to this section, refer to this
Got it.
section.
Okay.
Community center, I actually was like, I mean, so the thing about that is. I don't know, I think it should probably just be permitted outright, but also, what are things that people will want more of a say in? But as you said, you do still have to do public noticing
And
for an
And the
administrative
city's-
review. But I'm just, when I think about what actually needs a CUP, it's things that the city doesn't want to take 100% of the responsibility. And burden
Blame.
of reviewing it.
Like the
Or
cluster, which did go to the hearing examiner twice, right? And I wasn't working near that. I did hear about it though. Even though I didn't town.
It was,
Yeah, I heard about it, for sure.
and also, so that, it was like, at least. The city was not blamed as much as they would have been otherwise, because at least it went to the hearing examiner. So like that kind of situation, like really major development. Where people are going to want a big say in what happens. And the city does not want to be totally responsible for what happens. Like that's when you need a CUP, right? And that's why, I don't know, I was like, community center, like maybe people just want to feel like they have more of a say in it, but I don't think that that's the best venue for people having a say in it, it's the CUP, so.
So to your argument, commercial amusement enterprise would be something that should.
You mean the low impact one, because high impact is.
Yeah, we eliminated.
Yeah, well,
So one thing I've noticed is that like we have 2109 in the code too, which is covers our administrative review process, right? I think that's the application process for administrative review, and it crosses over with the kind of the RCW definition of conditional review in a lot of ways. So I think that to Allison's point, where we should shift the things that the city doesn't want to take the burden on, like, is that a viable path? Do we all think that's a way we should approach this, or is it more shift as much to administrative review and actually have the city take accountability for development? That is a distinct change in the council, and I don't know how the mayor would feel about it.
I mean, I don't think. I don't think we necessarily need to like eliminate all conditional uses.
No, but we've noticed that a majority of them are sort of,
yeah,
I would call them superfluous, like they're additional on top of constraint, and we would rather force them just into simple administrative review. But then we also probably need to improve definitions for some of those uses for the city administrators, right? So that, our planning team doesn't end up with holding the ball on something that's undefined.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of work in terms of coming up with some of these specific requirements. And I mean, at least grouping things by like institutional facilities, these are the requirements.
Yeah, institutional or places of public or private assembly, it'd be a bunch of these, right?
Yeah.
Pet things like a kennel or a pet care, I could see people getting upset if you're telling, yeah, you can have a dog kennel with 20 dogs and they're barking, that maybe would need a CUP.
One barking dog.
Yes, right? I know.
Yeah.
One barking dog, yeah, my neighbor had a barking dog for a while and thankfully they moved, but it's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's not
not
allowed at all in residential. It's only allowed.
I mean, I would say that.
Weird. But then even then, like,
Yeah, then it's
if you
kind of
put a
weird.
kennel next to a hotel, the
I know.
hotel's gonna be like WTF.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I would think it would make more sense, honestly, with a CUP in a residential zone.
Yeah. Yeah, but then
That's not even what's on here.
but then it's like, yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be a CUP, but it definitely needs its own set of rules about like, you must have X amount of
sure.
space between your neighbors or something, like, I don't even know.
With mitigation.
Yeah, noise mitigation, something.
Yeah.
Minimum
I mean,
lot
this
size
code
for 1 acre.
As you can see now, this is such a big, there's so many different tentacles that go into this. This is not gonna be a quick fix. Like, we're gonna have to change all kinds of
Well, I've heard,
things.
I mean, from this panel right now, that there are like 3 things on here that we really think need CUPs, and the rest of them kind of seem that they could be grouped into bigger ideas and done with the administrative process. Am I wrong in hearing that? Is there anybody else that's thinking that there's more on here than those major 2 or 3? So I feel like, I mean, we could start Xing a boatload of these if that's something that we're looking to do, or is it better to do a bit of a regroup on these, or do we just gonna start throwing the slash marks through conditional use permits ideas? I mean, because, I'd be happy to just throw one out there. The microbrew distillery, you guys already have the rules, and the only reason we wanted the CUP from them, if I remember correctly, is because of the impact that they have on the sewer. And so as long as they mitigate that, it's fine, but if that's an administrative rule, there's one that we can just wipe off the board.
But I think that, again, I think that we're going at it from if we're gonna be eliminating most of them, let's talk about it in the reverse order. What are the things that for the inverse of that? Which is like, what are the things we actually feel like need the CUPs? Can you?
Yeah,
say,
like what needs a CUP, we kind of
and what
set those aside,
right? And
then the rest of the things are like some administrative review, we start grouping into a few categories.
I think
So
we
what
could
needs-
just
what
like
business?
replace all these Cs with PX, whatever X is,
Yeah,
and then, we can figure out what those are later, but like, what it actually still needs a C next to it.
I think the commercial amusement enterprise.
I agree.
Without question. And you might, just because swimming pools is wrapped into recreational facilities, you might want to put the recreational outdoor use, you might want to put that there as well. Might want to say
Wait.
that. That's recreational outdoor use.
Swimming pools is a separate,
It says tennis courts and swimming pools. I only, okay.
like the definition of
Oh, yeah.
The definition of recreational outdoor use is the area designed for active recreation, whether publicly or privately owned, including but not limited to
Yeah.
ball diamonds, soccer fields, tennis courts, and swimming pools. And I saw the swimming pool in there.
Yeah.
Since swimming
Yeah,
pools are such
so
a
that-
hot topic,
so that could remain
remain as a CUP.
conditional. Probably. That's tough because it's also like ball fields. Which. Well,
Our definition of,
outdoor use, it's weird how these zones. Okay, no, it makes sense because it is permitted outright in the recreation zone.
okay,
And every other zone is conditional, so that does make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That it would remain conditional
everywhere else.
in all the other zones, and then it is permitted outright.
in the middle of like.
Yeah, so because that's likely a private development versus the parks it would be permitted outright in the parks. So there you
So
go.
we'll keep
So
the,
that
we'll
would
keep,
stay.
that can stay as a CUP, perfect, okay. So-
But do we want it to be major or minor? Well, the
Or
CUP
I think
is still a
CUP
major.
is major.
CUP is gonna be the major, and then the administrative is gonna be the
Is the
minor.
major, right? Okay. The minor, the thing, for this sheet, the minor just
Still a
makes it
CUP.
administrative.
Yeah, I think we just, when discussing it, it seemed like the idea made more sense to have like a CUP and then let the rest of it,
And then.
limited administrative review, which is in, chapter 2109. Like the process is already in there.
Wireless telecommunications facility. I think that should probably remain
Okay.
conditional, except that it is permitted outright in the light industrial zone. Yeah, so I feel like that can remain the same, because that's also gonna be like, that will be very contentious. if-
Oh, man, but everybody, we need more.
You want to buy a tree about there?
I want service, that's what I want.
I just want to see through the process.
How about the manufactured home parks and the tiny home parks?
Oh gosh, that's like a whole nother thing we need to do.
Yeah.
Is that,
It
gonna-
is,
is that gonna be administrative via the rules that we have in place for those, or is that gonna
Yeah.
be? Cause it feels like we already wrote up these rules, so wouldn't that just be the administrative following, well,
We didn't write rules for manufactured home park and tiny home.
No, that has to be done though. at
But we
some
need to
point.
do it,
Yeah, we need to do it.
and then it would be an administrative review based on those rules.
so we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So we have the,
We just don't have the rules yet.
No.
so commercial amusement, the recreational and the wireless technology. Those-
So basically our whole code just needs to be rewritten.
Are there any others than that? Colin or James, do you have any others?
Not for me.
Places of worship. I feel like that would go with the other institutional uses,
And
like,
administrative review, because.
yeah, like administrative review, that'd be the same as like educational facility hospital, because it's large, it's largely based on like traffic and events and number of people.
Sure, they also make
Yeah.
noise, but yeah, I agree with you. That, and it would fall, that administrative makes sense there too, okay?
Yeah, you can place, you can
All
define what that
sorts, yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So preschool is gonna fall under the, or under educational, or that's gonna be all under one little P, whatever, in the
It
institutionalized?
doesn't need to be a C, so.
Perfect,
I
okay,
don't see-
all right, anything else? Those main three.
Maybe going back to the public facilities, are going to be considered, that's here, or removing the probably.
Oh.
Easier now. From the city administrative standpoint.
I mean, it's one less step if you don't have to go to the hearing examiner.
But not a
But-
simple idea here, right? Saves the city money because the hearing exam is expensive and time consuming. So
Yeah.
the money and time saving analysis here or benefit for the city.
Yeah, the applicant pays, but yeah, it does. Yeah, that's true. Somebody pays for it. I don't know, I'm pretty sure Maggie will have a little, she probably will want to leave more on here.
I mean, I would wonder, something like high impact public facility, that's already permitted. Oh, that, a public utility, that would be like a new sewer plant.
Right, that's.
Public utility, or that's like the PUD substation I actually have on my desk right now is a CUP, currently.
Right,
Um,
which, I mean, that is,
It is pretty impactful to
Yeah.
have that next to
Yeah.
your house, like these giant transformers and, you know.
Well, yeah.
But we need it also, like it's super important, otherwise.
Well, I think where is it? Let's-
but I think, so another thing to think about with this is like administrative review means they have to meet a specific set of additional standards. And those can be kind of vague, when we want them to be vague, they can be specific, when we want them to be. Conditional uses allows you to invent whatever conditions you want.
The hearing examiner can add, like, it gives him more leniency for him to add,
Yeah,
However.
and the city can recommend conditions. So
yes.
I'm thinking about something like a public utility, where you might want to keep the ability to impose conditions
Like
that are very
landscape, like the
specific to
landscape
that use. Exactly.
Something,
Like to
sound barriers or,
sound,
I don't know,
visual,
visual,
hard to block smells.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I stare at the street plants.
yeah.
After the storm, lost a few trees, got a little clear sight.
Well, mostly got a power outage because the generator's for you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness that was there.
Yes.
It's
Well, that
so
played-
glad it's so-
It was odd. Okay, so again, going back to what we absolutely think needs to stay. The public utility, I think it does.
I agree.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
specific conditions may well be.
Recreation, outdoor use, wireless telecommunications, and.
Commercials, yes.
Those are the four that are absolutes. Or anything on the fence that we want to maybe just take a second stab at and inspect. Anything else? We kind of brought community center.
I
Like
never mind
folds
on that.
into
I think-
education and the hospital.
Yeah, I think that sits with the rest of the institutional uses, that kind of assembly institutional group.
What about the public facility, like the high impact ones in particular? I think like a fire station, a public works facility, you might want that to have a CUP or extra.
Oh, but in the residential district, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
Oh,
allowed.
they're not.
They're not allowed in the residential district, it's just
Well, right now, they're permitted, right? Public facility high impact?
And they're permitted in commercial zones.
Yeah, where are they current? Oh, they're
There's
conditional
conditional
recreation.
permit for in a reg zone or like public, yeah. RP zone.
Which makes sense.
I
mean, I think we would want to discourage use of like park land by a high impact public facility. Right? I need to look at the definition here.
I'm like looking at her, like, where is that?
It means, so public facility high impact means land or structures owned
Basically the golf
by
course.
or operated for the benefit of public use and necessity, including but not limited to fire station and public
We're
work
talking about
facilities.
the zones.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
I did want the definition, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I swear someone asked for it.
One thing I think I'm noticing here, I'm sorry if I missed this, but we're talking about a lot of the things that do not have a criteria set attached to them, but then some of them do. So if anything has a criteria set attached to it already, I think that it should be pushed into administrative review. That's maybe like an easy button in my mind. Does everyone like telecommunications, wireless telecommunication has a criteria set?
After, right now.
Yeah, it does have its own chapter.
I mean, do we really need a conditional use permit for wireless telecommunications in anywhere other than residential?
We shouldn't, no.
No, because it does, yeah. It has
Like
its
in
own
forest commercial along US 2, does it really need a conditional use permit? I mean,
Yeah, because it has to meet some of the other
Yeah.
regulations, but it's in the.
yeah, it would just be for if we care about it,
Yeah,
looking bad with our Christmas
Yeah.
lights.
it's just,
Like that would be-
They're tall and ugly, people don't, people
only
hate
get
that
it if it
tree in
looks
East
like a
Wenatchee,
Christmas tree.
the fake
I-
tree. People hate that thing.
But like. I would think we would only need a conditional for those in the residential areas.
yeah, that'd be fine.
The discussion is winding down. And we've got at least an idea that we can bring it back up, especially when Maggie's back, and she'll have more perspective on this, but I think that so far, our attack would be identifying a small handful of conditional uses that we do think warrant and need to stay and maybe needs to be cleaned up. And then a good chunk of these can either be grouped together or addressed specifically in the development regulations. Is that accurate?
I agree.
Yes.
Right, we will read this next time and pick that up. Give us a little more chance to dig in and see if there's anything we're not thinking of, but I think that's a good strategy.
Do you want me to send you an Excel spreadsheet with this? Would that be helpful, or is it, where we pass that point? Like where you would like this as an Excel so you can type on it, or is it not?
That was a sheet or something.
I can export it.
Okay,
I mean, what do we
I'm
are?
good without the sheet. I have-
Yeah, because I don't know, it seems like maybe it got past the point where you would need it, but
Yeah,
I think it's on it.
I think we
I
are.
think that's that.
I think
Okay.
also working from the district use chart, like Allison suggested,
Yeah.
is actually probably easier to.
Helps you see where it's already,
Yeah.
available or not available, or whatever.
If anybody else wants my Google sheet, then
I will say we should.
Did you even send it? Yeah.
I just made it while we were sitting here, so I have the current versus
It's
proposed color coded.
Yeah, I'll take it,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely, please.
You could send it to me too.
I don't hate that it's a sheet.
Okay, so we'll table discussion. Elizabeth will share her substandard document.
Formatted such.
Strong.
Kira, were you at the Excel World Championships in Las Vegas?
Should, I probably should.
Might be listening.
Okay, so we'll table this until next time. We'll further review and see if there's a different way to approach it, wait for Maggie's opinion. I think, like I said, she'll have some different perspective, but I think that we've made a good, at least first swing at this, so that's good. Moving on to additional discussion items. I think, we have to actually vote every year for the chair position, yes? Is that required?
I don't know the answer to that, but go ahead and do that.
I would like, I think your nomination.
I nominate.
Yeah. So do we have to nominate not yourself and do the classic?
I'll go wait in the hall, you guys can discuss.
Well, you would, I think you would nominate and I would write down who nominated.
Okay.
So we had a nomination for Drew.
Yes.
It got seconded by Allison.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, with no nominations, I'd like to bring a vote to the floor.
Does he have to leave the room? No.
Not at all. If there was multiple people, I would say.
Then you would say yes, yeah. I don't know, that's like one of those Robert's Rules of Order thing that you remember from planning school.
And then I'll, if I drop the vote, I will ask for the vote. So all in favor of Drew Folk continuing on as chairman of the planning commission for Leavenworth for 2026.
I will ask first, Drew, do you accept his
Oh,
nomination?
good call out.
Yeah, we should have done.
Don't do that.
I will say this, yes, however, I do have to put the condition in that there is fairly viable chance that I will have to step down from the commission. It'll be here.
Oh, no.
No.
But until then, yes, I maybe.
Well, I vote yes, we keep it as long as we have you.
Yeah,
I also think yes.
I agree, yeah, that's work.
Yeah, we really, as a staff, we really appreciate you because you do a good job of keeping people calm and on task, and it's very helpful.
We heard from James and Colin.
Aye.
Excellent.
Okay,
Alright, so that is the last piece of business on the agenda for today. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
who's, Amanda.
Alright, all those in favor?
Hi.
All right, thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.
James?
Simon, what is your email